Hey guys, I'm Ned, creator of Saturday Night Charity D&D. Every month, a group of wonderful people come together to support various charities. These charities are at the heart of every single player that you see here tonight, to include that wonderful DM that's that way. Tonight's charity, as you see at the bottom of the screen, is Take This, which was selected by our wonderful player Nat, which you see that way. I'll let him explain what it's about here in a minute. Before we begin, I'd like to thank both Malk and Stuffy for allowing us to use NTG as a platform. Of course, without them, this would not be possible. And I'd also like to give a shout out, thank you, Stuffy, for that subscription, to Chase, who does all the lovely graphics that you will see throughout the stream tonight. Now that that's all out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the stars of tonight with Metz all the way at the end that way, introducing herself first as the belly dancing halfling.
Indeed, I get to play Samba this evening, but I am Kim, aka Metzgirl, in the Twitters and the Twitches and over on the Discords. You can find me normally on Welcome Party. I'm there doing the Mimic Nights, the second, fourth, and fifth Tuesdays. And then I also have two podcasts. You can find me at Beholder's Eye, where I play Zalara, a wood elf monk in an epic fantasy adventure, also a D&D 5th edition actual play. And then Service Desk is my other podcast, in which a pair of service desk techs try to explain the complicated tech world to the not so savvy. And that's me.
And next we'll go is Finn.
Hi, I'm Finn. Find me around the internet as FinDragon. I'm the Finnish guy of the group. Fart sockets. Next! Oh, and I play Wash, the Kalastar Ranger.
He says wash, but it's Vosh with a V. That accent. Go ahead, Nat.
Hi everyone, I'm Nat. You can find me almost everywhere in the social media verse as NatchuralOne. It's spelled a little weird, but it's somewhere on this wonderful UI. And I'm playing everyone's favorite wizard boy, Kirk Tanner. Another place you can find me is I have my own Twitch channel that I'm starting to do more streams on. And you can find me, so I do some reviews at A Pawn's Perspective. And actually, I just released one today for a board game called Overlords of Infamy. It's a super fun worker placement game. Anyway, I wanted to take a second to talk about this month's charity, since it was my choice. This month we're playing for an organization called Take This. It's an organization that works to address mental health needs in the gaming community. They're probably best known for, if you've ever been to a con and you've seen like the AFK rooms, or they set up places where you can go and get away from the crowd of the con to kind of get your mental health back on track. And they also do a whole bunch of other stuff for gaming and mental health. And so we're going to be raising money for them because they're super awesome and I love them. I think that's it for me.
And now we move on to our lovely DM for the evening, which is Bard.
Hello, I am the Bardic Knock. You can find me on various places on the internet under this same pseudonym. That is Twitter, Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube. It's all the Bardic Knock. I do a variety of things. Dungeons and Dragons and various other tabletop-related things include this, which is a heck of a lot of fun, and it's for a great cause, so consider giving money. Do that. The other things I do over on Welcome to the Party, that's twitch.tv/WelcomePartyRPG. You can find me every Sunday, where I am running a homebrew 3.5 edition D&D game, and every second and fourth Thursday, you can find me running a Pokemon tabletop RPG. So there's that. All the other things, check me out. I do things on those places, and I would appreciate you looking at them, maybe. Ned, do you want me to do the recap now, or do you want to introduce yourself?
I mean, I did a little introduction. I'll get me at the end. You go ahead and get with the recap, and let's get started for the day.
Alrighty, wonderful. So, last month, our group of, you know, we'll be kind. We will assume they are the heroes of this story. Our initial trio washed up on shore and made some new friends or acquaintances or whatever you wish to call them. And these people just so happened to take a liking. Well, at least one of them took a rather severe liking to some members of the party and encouraged them to travel back to her home village. Once there, the group were treated to a lovely display at the hands of the orc tribe leader of this halfling village called Big Poppa Chief, who treated them to drinks and food and a lovely theatrical dance show festival type thing. It was lovely. Everyone had a great time. Everyone got merry. Halflings were yeeted around, and it was all in all a great night. Until in the middle of the night, when everyone was trying to get some sleep, some dick showed up with some zombie baboons and ruined everything. And that's basically the gist. So this hooded dick has run off with some very fancy looking magical daggers and a small halfling child, and he vanished in a cloud of mist. But logically, you guys assumed and used your intuition to follow his trail towards the jungle. So that is where we shall be starting off after Ned gives his final bits and pieces.
Final bits and pieces. Do you want those bits and pieces, Bard? I can give you the bits and pieces. I guess before we start, hi guys, I am Ned. This whole thing was created off of a brilliant idea that charity in D&D can go 1-on-1, and we are glad to be here and to do the wonderful things that we can do. I also want to thank whoever donated $50 to take this already. I happen to have missed the notification. So whoever did that, thank you. Also, whoever did the $5 initially, thank you again as well. You guys are lovely people, and we could also not equally do this without everybody who both comes to the stream and watches. And without you guys, this doesn't exist, obviously. Charity does not exist without people being generous. So thank you again. Okay, it was me. Of course it was you, Stuffy. It's always you. So without further ado, we should get back to our adventurers, where this lovely photo right here really wants to start eating some things.
All right, so let's jump on in to the scene where we left off. You were all collected in the communal tent, building-esque thing in which the celebration had taken place, and you're all hoping to get a good night's rest. Big Poppa Chief is laid on the floor with a rather nasty and extensive-looking burn mark going across his chest. Luca, the halfling and childhood friend of Samba, is looking rather upset and distressed and kind of pumped up and angry. He seems like he's building himself up to rush off on his own and take care of whatever this nonsense just was. How is everybody else feeling and reacting to all of this? There are also 4 zombie baboon corpses laying around.
I'm gonna rush over to Big Poppa and do a medicine check, I guess.
Please do.
That is an 18.
All right, wonderful. 18. Looking over Big Poppa, he is quite badly hurt. It doesn't look fatal at this exact moment. He obviously needs some rest and some medical attention quite quickly to stop it getting any worse.
I think. Do I have cure wounds? I probably don't. I'm a first level person. I do. Let me do that. There. For 9.
All right, wonderful. I'm assuming you lay your hands on his rather damaged-looking chest, and you let the magical power flow through you. There's a lovely glow, and some of the edges of the burn mark, they kind of turn into a little bit of scar tissue. It has definitely stopped from getting worse. He is going to pull through. However, this was a lot of damage to take in one go. He is going to have bed rest for a good couple of days, and preferably with a medical, well, some person providing persistent medical attention to him during this time.
And the dude from the normal medical witch doctor-y dude is not back yet, I assume?
Well, he was out of the village when you guys arrived earlier in the afternoon. He probably might have gotten back at some point in the night. No one's really gone around and found out or checked or any such thing like that.
Okay. Vash, could you go look and see? You wouldn't know. Would you, where the medical guy normally goes? His tent? Hut? What do we have? Huts?
Huts, tents.
Okay.
Big, nice looking hammocks.
I quite literally know no one from this village. What kind of tracks does he leave?
You would say that. Just come with me. Let's go look. See if he's here. Because the other two are out of the tent yet, right? Or did they come back? I don't remember.
Nortle, I do believe, is still in the tent after eating a couple of dead zombie baboons.
Yeah, everyone is currently still in the tent together.
Oh, okay. We should go after that guy, right? Anyone?
Kirk's
No?
Kirk's probably like pacing around with Luca, like at the same time getting pumped up, but not like getting pumped up together.
Yeah,
it's like I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him.
It's parallel pumping.
It's parallel pumping.
Conjoined. Luca, for anybody who doesn't recall, halfling, quite small, very muscular, shaved head, tribal tattoos. He's there. He's kind of winding up his shoulders and going, "Oh man, I'm gonna kill that dick. He took Baco. He hurt Big Poppa. This guy, I'm gonna break his face right on open." A little.
Kirk is muttering things clearly in Infernal, but you can be sure that it's all extremely rude.
Excellent.
Nordle is so he gets in the tent, of course, and this guy's trying to kill people, especially little children, something Nordle doesn't quite appreciate whatsoever. But he's coming down now. Everything has died down. The baboons are gone. He was drunk half a minute ago. He's just kind of there. Doesn't really quite know what's going on. He's about to become one of those turtles that's on his back and just can't get out, you know? Can't do his thing. kind of stumbling there.
Okay. Uh, we need to go, guys. If we're gonna go chase him, we have to.
Right.
Are you okay,
right.
Nordal?
And he just, boom, lands on his back and just starts.
Oi, get up.
I don't think the tortoise is going anywhere.
Help!
What?
Kirk's gonna get down right next to Nordal's face, and cast thaumaturgy to make his voice boom, and yell, "Get the fuck up now!"
And you just, you just see a turtle. You know how the cats, when they get scared, they get jumped. You just see a turtle do the similar thing, except for he's on his turtle, so you don't quite understand how the physics of that happened. You just kind of see him, pop up from the shell and stand up and kind of hobble on in the direction that you guys think he should go. Just let's go.
Calm down. You don't know where you are going. It's the jungle.
He
You
just
get
got
lost.
Nordal's just on hobbling to the front of the tent.
Okay.
Samba, where are we
Yes.
going?
He went this way. Vash,
And-
can you track him?
He disappeared in a puff of smoke. But I can try.
Well, he couldn't have gone more than maybe 30 feet. If I'm familiar with how far that particular spell takes a person.
Can I do an Arcana check to get a sense of what he actually did to disappear?
Oh yes, you most certainly can. If you go over and inspect the area he was, because how he did this, he actually had a small vial which he smashed onto the floor, which created the puff of smoke. So there'll be magical residue and all kinds of various bits and pieces.
Awesome. Oh, great. That's a 16.
Yeah, 16. You're with your particular field of study. I can't remember exactly the name of it, but you do a lot of research into the manipulation of spells, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can look at this and you can understand, like, okay, this is some variation on a fairly standard magical spell, Misty Step, but it has been altered in some way, shape, or form to be used in this way instead of cast upon someone. He, at most, could have gotten, depending on how potent the vial itself was, maybe 100 feet away at most. So he is definitely on the run through the jungle as you speak.
Well, it shouldn't be too hard to track him once we get to the edge of the jungle, yeah?
It shouldn't be too difficult. Any one of you a tracker?
Yeah, you are. That's why we brought you. That's why you're here.
Nordal just comes over and puts his meaty claw around Vash's shoulders. Let's go track this guy. And let's go kill him.
Let's talk about money.
Well, I'm sure we could steal the things off him. That could be some money.
I'll
Watch
give you.
doesn't seem too impressed.
I'll give you a silver. Not what I've got. All right. Well, I'm gonna go. You can stay here and be boring if you want. And Kurt's gonna leave the tent.
Nordal's just,
Finally. Come on, let's go.
Nordal's just gonna grab onto Vash and just gonna start walking. See if he'll come with us.
Nope.
Oh,
As you go to leave through the entranceway of the tent, Samba, you would recognize this person. A rather short-ish looking human, shaved head, has a brownish hue to his skin color, appears to be wearing basically no clothing except like a vague loincloth, has a thick red line tattooed across his forehead and going down his back and all kinds of other various markings. You would recognize this man as the local witch doctory type fellow. And he walks in. He throws the tent flaps, doors, whatever you want to call them, open, and he goes, "Ah! What?" He looks over to one of the baboon corpses. He goes, "Oh, this is not too good. I can't fix that."
Please don't. I'm worried more about Big Poppa. Can you come help him, please?
Oh. If he's dead, do I get his skull?
He's not dead.
I'm saying if he's dead.
I cured him. Keep him alive,
Fine.
please.
He walks in. Before going to Big Poppa, he walks over to one of the baboons, pulls out a small hunting knife and cuts its head off and goes, "I'm taping this." And he opens a bag he keeps attached to his waist and just throws it in. He walks over to Big Poppa and starts poking him with a stick. He goes, He got set on fire!
Yes, your medical knowledge is astounding. Please, do you have something for that?
He starts rummaging around in this bag. So he immediately pulls out the baboon head, and he pulls out, he just keeps pulling out various bits and pieces of different animal parts. There's like a boar's tusk, and there's a monkey paw, and there's all kinds of nonsense. He goes, I have a few, not really enough. Would have to get some from the jungle.
Some what?
Herbs, paste, skulls.
Why do you need a skull?
Because they're
Nordal.
cool. I like skulls.
Nordal just hops in. You said you needed skulls?
Yes.
I like getting skulls. Let's go get some skulls.
All the skulls
He
are
just-
mine.
I'm assuming we can see the forest in the distance.
Yeah, it's really not that far away. It's literally
Okay.
like
Right
the
here.
village and then jungle.
So Nordal just starts on moseying towards the forest. He was told skulls were in the forest. He wants skulls.
Yep. The medicine man walks over. He kind of pokes Big Poppa a couple extra times and goes, "I would." He gets some of his bits and pieces, some rather large-looking leaves, and kind of smears some kind of paste that he looks to have crushed up in a small homemade pestle and mortar, which is essentially a creature's skull and a claw. And he kind of smears it over Big Poppa's chest. It stinks like hell, but well, you don't know what it's doing, but it looks like it's doing something, I guess. And when he's done, he kind of dusts his hands and goes, "So we're going to get the herbs, the things? Angoro's coming."
You're okay. Sure, let's go.
10 gold pieces.
Payment? What does Angoro have in his sack? Starts rummaging through his bag again. Do you want a rabbit? And he just pulls out a live rabbit.
Bunny.
Nordal sniffs the air, and kind of gets closer to the rabbit. You said rabbit?
Yes.
Just kind of sniffs a little bit more. I want the rabbit.
You'd think that the life of the village chief is worth more than 10 gold pieces.
What's a gold?
I'm sorry, Vash. Sometimes we don't really use gold in the village. We just trade things and, you know.
Ooh, ooh. He reaches back into his bag and he does pull out a gold piece. Like, you mean a shiny disc? I found some. When I say found, I mean took it from a body in the jungle.
Nordal doesn't really care about the gold, and he just
Do
kind
you
of.
have 10 of those?
Nordal's gonna just try to swipe the rabbit while he's digging through the sack.
Oh yeah, you can take the bunny.
Okay, he takes the bunny and just kind of snaps the neck, and just kind of walks off with the bunny in his hand, ready to eat it. And he just kind of.
Goro looks at you and goes, "You did it wrong. You didn't scare it first."
He just kind of takes off the bunny's head, tosses it aside. There's your skull. And just kind of
Oh!
starts gnawing at the meaty neck and just kind of peels back the skin as he's going. It's kind of like an ice cream cone with the paper sleeve still on it.
Goro continues to reach into his sack to a point where he eventually just turns it upside down and shakes it out. And there's a grand total of 50 gold. Goes, I had these shiny discs. Do you want them?
Bosh, can you grab mine for me?
10 is enough. And proceed to split 10 away from him. Put them somewhere safe so that you'll have them when I come back.
Angora was coming with you to collect herbs. Otherwise, Big Poppa's just going to die. I mean, not die. Shh.
Then put them aside so that you can give them to me when you are coming back.
Okay. He shuffles them over to Big Poppa, lifts up Big Poppa's leg, and just puts them under that. They are safe here.
Oh, and I'm gonna get this one arrow back from this zombie that wasn't thrown into the orbit.
Okay, if you're getting your arrow back, roll me a percentile.
Which would be...
D100. Yeah, it's above 50, it's fine.
Nortal is about halfway done with his bunny.
19.
Kirk pokes his head back in the tent flap, notices Nordal's bloody face, and says, "Hey, I love a blood sacrifice as much as the next guy, but this asshole's getting away. Do y'all mind if we move on?"
I got my bunny. Let's go.
Yeah, Luca is stood. He's about at your waist height, and he looks up and he goes, "This guy, he gets it. Come on, are we going or what? Yeah.
Let's you and I go. Whatever they want to do, fine. Let's go. Let's get.
I
Alright,
am
let's go."
right with you.
And Luca will start running off towards the jungle.
I'm probably
Be
not
prepared
right
for it
behind
here,
him,
Bob.
but
And Nordal's just gonna keep on moseying, kind of licking the meat, taking a chunk every
Well.
now and again.
No reason standing around here. Let's go find these herbs and skulls.
He moseys on over by the forest.
Okay, so if just move everybody over, because I need to change map screens. So let me just get a copy of everybody.
Oh, it's in that corner. Okay, that's where it's at.
wait, where is it?
It's in the bottom left-hand
Oh,
corner.
I see it.
Yep.
Very tiny.
Yeah, it's not the size of the map.
Yeah.
All right. So you head off towards jungle. There's a fairly obvious path to follow initially. Start moving forward, I guess.
Which one of y'all is leading this thing?
Well, I think you and Vosh should.
I need to know which herbs we're going for.
Ungora will play like, I can see the herbs from the back. I think it's safe.
Onward! And he shakes the bunny corpse almost done.
So, if you guys want to put yourself in a marching order of sorts.
Alright, it'll be in Vosh up front. And
Actually, probably gonna be sticking next to Luca if I can.
Okay. So, if you scroll up on the map just a little bit to yonder, you will see the first fork in the road. Which way do you want to go?
Nordal starts making his way up to this fork in the road, and he gets a curious look on his face, and so he just kind of looks at the bunny, and he's like, I think I'm done with you. And so he just takes the bunny, and he just yeets it as far as he can
On the road.
in the air, and whichever way it lands is the way he wants to go.
So, just out of curiosity, does a special sound occur when something is yeeted?
Oh yes, it definitely occurred.
Okay, so if that is your method, flip a coin, roll a d2, whatever, something with 50-50 odds.
I'll do a d4 and just odd or even it.
Yep.
So odds is left, evens right.
Yep.
It's odd, so we're going left. Let's go left!
All right,
Could
wait,
we
hold
maybe have
on.
Vash look for some tracks or something,
Yes, can we do that?
please?
Kind of comes up to Vosh. Check left first.
I think Vosh just got a nat 20.
That is what happened.
Okay, so Vosh. Now I need to actually zoom out and figure out which would be the quickest way to get to where this person was trying to get to. So I figure out which direction he went. The tracks, which you can make out, you can definitely make out two sets of halfling tracks. One appears to be running, and another appears to be very sporadic in its placement, and almost if it's being dragged or pulled or trying to get away. And they appear to be going off the right path.
Well, if it's halflings we are looking for, we would go right.
Portal just kind of scurries over to the bunny on the ground, tosses it on the path. Yes, I see, I said right!
Oh boy.
Yep.
Alrighty, so
Nordal just kind of follows him.
So you continue along the journey. The jungle it's dark because it's in the middle of the night. It's not as quiet as one would expect. There are definitely sounds as if there is movement and activity,
How
and it
dark?
doesn't. There is a full moon, so it's well enough lit. This is quite a dense, thick jungle, so it's dim lighting at best. but it's light enough that you don't need to worry about low light vision, dark vision, all of that stuff for now.
Okay.
But the sounds you can hear, just going off of what I'm assuming the average passive perception being around a 10.
15.
Jesus flip.
Ian as
I
well.
only have a 9.
11.
Me and him are both at 15.
Sheesh. All right, so I'll start from the lowest and go higher. So the passive perception 9. You hear what you assume to be general jungle noises.
Sounds right.
You know, the occasional bird, the occasional monkey, and that's kind of it. You know, then there's, you know, rustling leaves and the sound of feet on the floor, maybe stepping on twigs and whatnot. The 11, you're basically the same. Maybe hearing a few more specific bits and pieces of animals. There is definitely a sting in the air that the nighttime is for the hunters. So there's a lot of predators who will be out and about during the evening. And then the 15s. Some of the footsteps you can hear and some of the movement is distinctively humanoid.
But we're hearing how far away?
They're kind of. It doesn't really seem as if anything is like immediately on top of you. However, it does seem there is persistent and constant movement, almost from all directions, as if that as if there are normally things in here that are always hunting at nighttime. So.
Okay. You said all directions.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do we have any sense of, besides urgency, but danger?
The danger that these things could potentially hold against you. Is that what you're asking?
Sure. Or in general?
One would assume that any group of people or group of individuals, if they're not connected, who primarily do their hunting at nighttime in the jungle, are fairly adept at it. However, whether or not they would hunt other people is entirely unknown to you.
Okay.
So, at best, they'd leave you alone. At worst, you might be a nice, tasty snack. You don't really have enough information to make a definitive call, but it is definitely something you should be aware of.
In the forests, you can never be too careful. In the
Nor
jungle,
Nordal
I'll
just
prepare my spear.
Nordal just turns around to Samba and Kirk and was like, "Guys might want to stay a little close."
Why? What's out there? I just hear generic jungle noises.
Indeed, what is out there? Samba.
Mm-hmm.
I can hear things that are not animals or beasts. What are they?
I have no idea. I would assume other people.
Samba, as a resident of this island and as a local, you would be aware that in the jungle, almost as a rival to the Marlow village tribe, there is rumored, and as far as all of the halflings are aware, like definitely small camps of feral halflings that seem to be, you know, it's part of like your tribe's history and culture. Like, oh yeah, they have a bad halflings, we have a good halflings. They stayed in the jungle and they're crazy. They like hunt and kill things for fun.
I mean to say that, of course, there's people in the jungle. Yeah, I mean, there's stories about them, but I can't say that I've run across them before. I just generally stay by the village, or the port town.
Nordal just kind of takes out his axe and like, well, for a bad idea to be prepared.
Oh yeah.
Onward.
Move quietly.
Okay. If you are wishing to continue quieter, would you all like to roll me stealth?
I would not like to.
I mean, that's only if you intend to move quietly. You can go, no, I stomp through.
I've got myself a 21.
I got a 15.
Okay.
It's a jungle, not a forest.
So, so far, that's 2 successes, 2 failures. So this is very much reliant on the NPCs.
Oh,
you
goodness.
need... Lucky for you, Luca is amazingly stealthy. It's almost as if he spends a lot of his time hanging out in the jungle. So there's Luca's. Let's hope Angora... Angora rolled a 3.
So the failures were 3, 8, and 15. What was the third?
The success for Luca, he got a 19.
Their
So,
average.
This is infuriating because the way I normally do group rolls is you roll as a group. You know, if half a group succeeds, the group succeeds. Obviously, with exceptions for natural 1s and natural 20s and whatnot. Unfortunately, this is half succeed, half failed. So, I need to essentially flip a coin to find out if you succeed or fail.
Oof.
All right, yeah. You're fortunate. Collectively, you move stealthily enough that you do not seem to stir any immediate attention. Such as to say, you know, those of you with high perceptions, you're aware that things might be noticing you. However, you haven't drawn direct attention to yourself yet. So you, at the moment, can continue unheeded. And that would then lead us to the next fork in the road.
Nordal just, softens his steps a little bit, although not quite as stealthy as necessary. He, softens them up just a wee bit.
Okay.
Not have drunk that much back there.
And we make it to the fork.
Yeah. So, once again, are you rolling a survival, is it, to find
Sure.
tracks?
Well,
Okay.
Nortal is also going to roll a survival.
Let's see.
20.
All right, so 20 and a 19. The tracks you are supposed to be following, they seem to be heading north up. However, Ungoro turns around and goes, "Oh, if we continue straight on, we'll find a small spring to collect herbs and medical supplies. Do that now or on the way back?"
Just turns around to Samba. Do you suppose we kill the gentleman? Or get the herbs? Kill
Well,
the
he
guy.
has enough on him for tonight, correct?
Oh, yes, he won't die tonight.
Well, then let's go on and kill the gentleman before he gets too far away.
very quietly and unnormal, like, onward then.
Okay, so let's reveal the next stretch.
Goodness.
Ooh.
Zoom out here so everybody can see.
Mm-hmm.
And Nordal just kind of sticks very closely to Vosh. Doesn't want to get snuck up on by either side. Just kind of looks at Vosh and tells him, you know, silently to you watch left, I've got right.
Okay. If you are actively searching or keeping an eye out for things, would you like to roll perception?
Yeah,
See-
sure. 21.
21. Nice.
21.
16.
9 I only rolled a 9 though.
Yeah. Okay.
That poor-
So,
That poor passive.
okay. So, Nortal and Vash. As you progress going up this pathway, on the right-hand side of you, so to the east, this general direction,
Mm-hmm.
you can definitely hear what appears to be people, like humanoids, communicating very quietly, but they are doing so.
So you'd say they're about right here.
They're a fair distance
Okay.
off, maybe
so out this way.
100 or so feet, but they are
Okay.
in that direction. It's very quiet.
Just kind of tugs at Vosh's sleeve and says, very quietly, I hear voices. That way. Say about 100 meters. You said meters, right?
Feet.
Feet. About 100 feet. Do you suppose we, go check it out?
And talking directly into Nordal's head. Should we? Should we really?
Nordal wants to, roll a perception. Actually, I guess it's a survival to see if the footsteps continue on further down the path, or if maybe they track off into the woods.
Okay, please do.
12.
See, this is where things start to get a little bit more complicated. The set of footprints and various other tracks you are following, you know, torn branches and maybe a bit of cloak or something caught on over the tree, there now appears to be more than one set. There is the set you are following, however, they seem to get muddled up in a whole mesh and crisscrossing of multiple sets of small halfling-sized feet traveling in all directions across this path, continuing up it, heading off into the trees.
Can I roll investigation to try and determine which set of tracks kind of continues on? That's the one we've been following.
That would be a very good thing to do indeed. Please do.
All right. That is a 17.
17. Okay. Yeah. It's not easy, but you can, using like basic logic and deduction and keeping a very close eye on things, tell that the tracks you were initially following, they seem to be continuing up the path. All the others, they seem to have come after this first set.
Well, I don't think we better bother with what's off to our right. I think we better just keep down the trail, but be ready for anything.
Ortal just kind of grumbles confusedly. So many tracks in it. Still not quite
Keep your
there,
ears open.
We're going straight to the man.
but he seems very calm whenever Vosh talks to him. something about Vash's voice makes Nortle feel comfortable.
Okay. As you progress a little bit further up this path, you see a small clearing in the trees, and Luca has basically not stopped. He only stops when you go like wherever tracks. The moment you point, he goes, "All right," and keeps booking it. He doesn't stop here. He looks at that path there and goes, No, you can ignore that. That's the path to the temple. Keep going, man. Keep going."
I'm assuming he means this way?
Yeah, he basically says you can ignore that path. That's how to get to the temple.
Are there any tracks leading there?
There's a set of halfling tracks.
Nordal just kind of glances over to Samba, just kind of more curious like.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason we're not supposed to go to the temple?
Well, we're not trying to go to the temple right now. We're trying to follow these tracks.
I see halfling tracks there.
Where's the...
Let's see
which
about
ones are we
these tracks. 10.
And he rolls a 10 and Nordal, oh shit, 7.
Okay. With a 10 and a 7, you are utterly convinced that but these are halfling tracks and we're going after a halfling. They must be this way. And Luca has moved on a little bit further north. He sees that no one's following him. He turns around and lets out a quite audible sign. Goes, "Those are my tracks? I go to the temple literally every day." I mean, come on. Like he will stomp over in a very moody way, walk over to a track and put his foot directly in it and goes, "See, it's me."
Nordal just looks at him.
Did you just try to put your foot down on me, young man?
Metaphorically, put your foot down. Anybody? No? Okay.
Luca looks at you and he goes like, I get that you're cool joking around and all that. This guy literally has my little brother. So if we can just keep moving, because I don't want to watch my little brother die, So come on, bruh.
Fair point. Let's roll.
And we move on.
Alrighty. Revealing a little bit more.
And Nordal just, equally continues to look off to the right, while, I suppose, Bosch continues to look off to the left.
Mm-hmm. Once again, if you would like, you can roll perception checks. If you are actively keeping an ear out, keeping an eye out.
24.
24 and 15. Nortal, with a 24, coming off from the same direction you were hearing talking and muttering before. This time it's a little bit louder. And you are definitely getting close to whatever was in that area.
Are we hearing any specific words?
Do you speak halfling?
No.
No.
Can I tell that it is halfling? Since I'm been around them for the last, several hours.
I'm just trying to think if anyone actually spoke okay, yes, justifiably, you would have heard people speaking a language you didn't understand. You're now hearing something that sounds kind of like that language, I guess.
Okay. Nordal's gonna go over to Samba and be like,
Excuse me, in that area over there, I can hear some halfling talk. Think you could, direct your ear to that general location and see if you can hear anything?
Let me see what I can perceive. I assume perception again?
Yes, to try and
since
hear.
she is actively, truly hard listening, suppose we could give her an advantage?
I will allow advantage, definitely, because Nortal is pointing you on the exact direction.
Take
There
it.
you go.
20.
20. Perfect, because a 15 wasn't good enough.
Of course not.
Yeah. Samba, when you listen carefully, you can very gently hear a few mutterings. And the few words you pick out in Halfling are more villagers. Should we hunt them? And there's general, if they come this way, we'll get them. Lay the traps.
So they're laying some traps for us, I think. As long as we stay on the trail away from them, we should be okay.
Aye.
And Nordal just kind of truly readies his axe, grips it a little tighter. He's really itching to get whoever took the gentleman's brother, but also doesn't like traps as a turtle. And continues on with Vosh.
Okay.
Yes.
As you continue, once again, you reach the fork. Tracks going off in every direction.
19.
18.
Okay, 19 and an 18. This is a little strange. The exacting tracks, they seem to go both down this way and off of the path. Almost as if this person had enough time to go back on themselves. For how far, how long, it's uncertain.
Curious,
And-
if we see tracks in both directions, do we also equally see tracks coming back from one of the said directions?
My sentiment exactly.
Okay. What you see is you see the set of two tracks, so Hank and his captive going off one direction. You then only see one set coming back, continuing down, and then coming back again. They're very, very sporadic, and they seem to take large gaps in between all the tracks as well. Whatever Hank is doing, he seems to be moving around with a fiercely large amount of mobility, either through magical or just physical means. It's kind of hard to tell by looking at just the footprints alone.
Nordal
There's
just-
still signs of someone being dragged along.
The signs of someone being dragged along
or north,
only
right?
continue
Yeah.
in the one direction that way.
Yeah. So Nordal looks over to Vosh.
I think we should go that way. Don't really care about him coming back this way. We'll get to him. Gotta help this guy's brother.
Okay, so going off of the path. As you progress forward a little further, one thing you do start to notice, the further north you get, the trees in the jungle seem to darken, and some of them even appear to be dead. As you get closer and closer, there is a disgusting, pungent scent building in the air, and the floor beneath you, it's losing its solidity. It is starting to feel very wet and damp and swamp-like.
So Nordal is feeling very much in his elements. He actually quite he kind of sneaks a smile in, like,
Oh yeah.
Bosch is over here, not able to breathe, and I'm just
He apparently likes the smell of his own brand.
Ew.
Ooh.
You poor souls.
I never go this far in the jungle for a reason. Ugh.
Nordal just kind of jokingly,
I'll eat you later.
and continues on.
Oh, gross. I really don't want to go in there.
Yeah, as you progress a little further, you seem to reach an area where the tracks stop dead. As you can see, a very visible, slightly deeper swamp area. Logically, you assume a person crossed through this swamp. It's gross. It smells. You're
Lovely.
fairly certain you can see the occasional thing wriggling around in there.
Well, if the witch doctor needs to lead, just go no further.
Yeah.
Are we able to assume that the little halfling was thrown in, or the tracks, end somewhere?
Well, the tracks, when I say they stop dead, they look as if they continue into the swamp.
You just can't see where they've gone because it's too squishy.
Yeah, because it's a swamp. Also, you guys don't really know how deep this swamp is, if this is something you have to swim across, if you can trudge along it, if you can... It's all a bit of a mystery until someone tests it.
Can we assume, since we are in Nordal's element, that he understands the elements so well that he can just, hop right in and find out where these, what's been going on and what's happening?
How about you go for a swim, Nordal?
Nordal turns around to Samba. My pleasure! And just jumps in.
Okay, Nortal, how do you jump in?
He just kind of, hops a little bit, but being a turtle from the swamp, he knows that these things aren't always the deepest. So he braces himself to reach the bottom quite quickly if he happens to meet it. But he's also, prepared to go quite deep if he has to.
Okay. So you do like a little cannonball, you go boop. You then stand up and you realize that the swamp comes to, about the center of your chest.
Okay.
You can walk through this. However, it is most definitely difficult terrain. So you can only walk at half speed, or you can choose to swim through it.
Nortal is going to attempt to swim through it, but also, searching around for whatever they're looking for. Tracks, some kind of way to find out where they went.
Okay. I'm not sure how tracks work going through water.
If they swam,
water and mud and
how long would you say they would have been through here?
He got maybe a 10 to 15 minute head start, and then with whatever magical bonuses he has been using to speed his travel along, it couldn't have been that long. At most, even assuming he can somehow move twice as fast as you guys can. Because this is quite a few, this jungle is really huge. It's not to scale here on the map, but to get to how far you guys are into the jungle, it's easily been at least 2 or 3 miles, which average walking speed for a humanoid is about 3 miles an hour. So at most, even with all of his bonuses, he maybe could have been through here half an hour ago.
Okay, Nordal's gonna just kind of sink into the water a little bit, but keep his eyes right above that water level. And he notices the ripples that he's been making, and he knows that swamps, they take a little bit to settle. When something disturbs them, the wildlife lets you know. The things move out of the way, and then they come back into the area. He's just gonna watch the water, look at some of the wildlife a little bit, watch the fishes, the frogs, and the toads, and stuff like that, and see if they're coming back to an area where something had previously scared them off from, something of that nature. See if a nest or something like that was disturbed inside of the water or the swamp.
Okay. What role do you think that would be?
Maybe some insight. I could justify some insight into the taking an insight into the wildlife, or maybe another survival.
Whichever you prefer, because both are quite well justified.
I mean, they're both +5s. 13.
Okay. One thing you definitely notice is this: are you keeping your eyes at water level?
Yes.
You can definitely notice something else in the swamp. Well, two something elses to be precise. One thing which you're definitely starting to notice is maybe starting to eye you up a little bit is over in the swamp you can make out a large reptilian creature which is also at eye level that seems to be eyeing you over. Another thing you notice, which is, you know, take it or leave it as you will, over in this direction on the bank, you can see quite a large looking collection of bones in the shape of a skeleton that seem to have sunken into the swamp slightly.
Okay. I'm gonna slowly, trot on through the swamp, keep being perceptive of the general area. And as I get closer to the creature that I believe is eyeing me, not quite giving him the idea that I'm coming towards him, but kind of coming off a little bit and then moseying over, coming off a little bit, moseying over. Can he get the can I get an idea of what he is?
That would be a nature check. And I might also ask for a handle animal to see how your approach comes across.
Let's see. Nature was a 5. And an animal handle is a natural 20, which makes it a 23.
All right. So the handle animal, you've got absolutely fine. You're like, yeah, I got this. Take a couple side steps, do this. As for figuring out exactly what it is, well, it's definitely reptilian. In nature, you can tell that much. It appears to be quite large, definitely bigger than you.
I'm 400 pounds and it's bigger than me. Whew. He's gonna mosey on up to it. Not quite sure what it is, and he's just gonna, it's bigger than him. He's just gonna kind of like stroke its, chin. And start speaking in Aquan, asking him.
Sorry, Kirk's gonna cast thaumaturgy and boom his voice and yell, "Oi, Turtle Man, what's going on in there?"
He's just gonna hold up a claw with like one little claw, telling him to give him a few seconds, and he strokes the creature. And he's like,
have you seen any mysterious things going on around here?
The large water-dwelling reptile, because this is still going off your natural 20, it responds to the little snoot stroking by slowly opening its jaw. And you see this creature, it can unhinge its jaw in such a terrifying way where it almost gets to 90 degrees with its top jaw being above the water and lets out a very satisfied before it slowly rolls over to its back and presents its stomach. And you see it has 4 little, well, not little, they're quite big and thick and meaty legs. And it seems like pat its own stomach.
and he just kind of looks at it.
If you tell me where that halfling fellow went, I'll give you a good belly rub.
it rolls back over. Now with like water and mud and general swamp slime covering its thick, rigid scales, as it turns its head over towards where the skeleton is. And if you look on the bank behind it, you can see a small cave.
Ah, good boy. And he just uses all his strength and turns him over and just starts giving him a good old belly rub.
Yeah, you turn this large crocodile over and start giving it a belly rub. As far as you're concerned, this is basically a big reptile dog.
He just kind of, nuzzles his head a little and says, good boy, thank you. Now go off and get you something to eat. He just kind of shoves him off.
It just kind of, it looks over at all of your friends who are stood on the bank.
No.
And
No. Something else. Friends are off limits.
And with that, he just dips himself below the water and starts going off to find something to hunt.
Just turns around to the party, pops his head out of the water. Go around, we have to make the cave! And points them to around the...
What cave?
There's a cave over here, I'll meet you around.
Okay.
Just...
So, I will start going to the direction that he pointed, I guess.
Which was this way.
This way?
This.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Or
let me
over here. You guys should...
reveal some of that for you to... the way the tree line falls on the edge of the swamp, you will have to make some... there's not a balance check, is there?
Dexterity.
Acrobatic?
The acrobatics.
Yeah. You would have to make an acrobatics check or athletics if you're going to jump from tree to tree instead to get around here without slipping into the swamp.
Oh boy. I only got a 5.
Okay. 14, that's good enough. 17, good enough. Luca, oh yikes, he slips in. And Ungoro doesn't even try. He just jumps straight into the swamp. Ungoro just jumps in, and he's just swimming along. He's got a spear on his back, and he's going, it's lovely. So, Luca and Kirk both fell in. Samba and Vash are fine to continue going along the tree line. Those who fell in, you're gonna pull yourself back out, or you're just gonna go, I'm already in. Screw it.
I mean, I don't have the strength to pull myself out, to be honest. So I guess I'm gonna go straight through. This is absolutely disgusting. I'm really pissed about it.
Okay. Before we all start moving around too much, Nortal, where you are is exactly where this large pile of bones appears to be. These bones seem slightly unnatural to a certain extent. Almost as if they have been stripped. And not just, ooh yeah, something died, it's decayed naturally, or it's been picked at. These almost look as if they have been bleached of any skin or fur or whatever it was that this creature was initially.
Gonna up some of the bone piles while the guys are making count and inspect them a little bit, get a feel. He knows what bones feel like from different things. He's eaten a couple of things. Do they feel like they're from the swamp? Is it a swamp creature, or does it feel like it's from more of a person or a halfling, something of
This is a very large, and it seems to be relatively connected. It doesn't feel like a pile. It feels like this is a singular skeleton, which is half fallen over into the swamp. You go to touch it.
Good.
Are you touching the skeleton bones?
Yeah, I'm definitely touching them.
As you reach out to touch them, you feel a mighty claw
Shit.
swing up. That's a 19 on the die. With a plus, yikes, 26 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Swiping, okay, minimum damage, you're fine. Swiping you. Oh wait, no. Oh no, yes, that was right. Swiping you for 6 damage as this skeleton slowly rears up. It's hanging on the edge of the swamp, so half of it is on the land and this half is swinging up. It's a strange looking creature. It appears to have a bear-like form until you get to the head. The head appears to be similar to a bird or an avian with a large hooked beak. As this giant bear-like claw swipes across your chest. And yeah, I did already tell you 6 damage, didn't I?
Yeah, curious. It's a bonus action. Curious.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use the blood curse of mutual suffering as soon as I see the claw coming towards me?
Bonus actions different to swift actions. However,
Yeah.
if we roll an opposed dex check and you win, you can get it.
I can do that?
Okay.
Oh, I only got an 11.
It got a flippin' 11 as well.
Yes!
Okay. What's your dex mod?
0.
Okay. It has a +1.
It's a meat?
Well, that's why I'm looking at mod. Like, so technically, you know, because I'm thinking like initiative, usually whoever's got the highest mod wins. So he just beats you by having a +1 dex, unfortunately. Everybody, you've just seen a rather large, terrifying, part bear, part bird creature skeleton swipe at your turtle friend in the middle of a swamp.
So, would I, from having a personality trait that mentions this creature, would I know what this is, or would you say that it's more of a saying that Wash has just picked up from somewhere?
Logically, you're a hunter. You spend a lot of time in jungles and forests. If you roll me a nature, you can probably identify this thing quite easily.
While he's rolling that name, I'm gonna back first. Is this thing a fae, a fiend, or an undead?
It is undead.
I can't be surprised by undead.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what to do then, because, you know...
Just yeah.
Okay. So, since you can't be surprised by it, I mean, I'm technically saying that was an attack of opportunity, because you just went and poked a thing. You didn't check if it was alive or dead first. So, it's not getting a surprise round. It's literally just getting the attack of opportunity, so it doesn't get to move, it doesn't get to do anything else.
Okay.
I will have to keep that in mind for the future.
Yep.
So, is that 19 your nature check, Vash?
Yes, it's nature.
That creature over there is... You've heard of these things, you've seen these things, you've maybe even hunted one once before. Probably not one that looks quite as large as this. That's an owl bear, or at least it was before it was dead.
So let me quickly pick up my owlbear head trophy.
So,
Yep.
This skeleton, it appears to be taking somewhat of a defensive stance, as if it is there to stop anybody getting towards this cave.
So what are the what's the distance scaling here for? You know.
This distance scaling is correct. The grids, that's fine.
Okay. So
Are we rolling initiative?
Yeah, you know what? Let's roll initiative. We're about at the point where we will be taking a break, but we can roll initiative, find out who's doing what, and then then I'll figure out what we're doing. So let me open up the initiative table. Oh god, it still had stuff in from before.
Oof.
They don't exist. You don't exist. And so many of these are just. There we go. That's correct.
Yes, shoot. Okay. I rolled a 10, so whenever you toss me up there.
Yeah. Hang on.
While he's doing that, Malkai did exactly what I always do.
Do. So.
Oh.
No. That's a
My
10,
turtle.
not a 20. And then need to add in Vash. NPCs, they will share an initiative for my convenience. And let's call him Owley. Okay, so Vash got a 23. Jesus criminy.
Oh, thank goodness. Nordal needs help.
The owlbear skeleton, not so great.
I see Finn is still grumpy.
And the NPCs, yeah, below average. So that gets to there. And what do we think would be a better idea? Do we think we can smash out this combat quickly, or do we want to take a quick break now and jump right back in with the combat?
Let's go ahead and finish the combat. Let's get some combat in, and then we'll take a break right after.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so first to move is Vash.
well, you said that thing is pretty clear, completely clear skeleton.
Yes, 100% clear skeleton, no hint that flesh, fur, feathers, anything. It is literally just bare bones.
So let me just. Yeah, it has a pointy end, and yeah, it has a point. Let me first flip this spear around, and then go for a nice dash. So 20 over there. Whoop. Damn it. 40. And 60. Done.
Okay. Is there anything else you are doing?
Nope. Just 2K dash.
Alrighty. Samba, you are traveling along the shoreline of the swamp. What do you do to the skeleton?
I am too far away to do most anything without hurting Nordal. So I'm just gonna move my 25, 15, 20. That's as far as I can go, as a halfling.
when you've moved, are you close enough to use a spell or anything like that?
Well, I don't know. Well, does Dissonant Whispers work on a skeleton?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I will do that. I didn't think that would work. Do. So my Dissonant Whisper. Up behind, yes, at that level, please. Thank you. 10 psychic damage, and it has to go against my spell save, which I believe is 15, but let me double check.
Okay, so...
Oh, sorry. Wrong character.
Okay, is that wisdom?
Yes, I think.
Okay, no, it fails that.
Okay, good.
So that's a good solid bit of damage right off the bat. So that... just for flavor, while I'm messing around with putting its hit points in, what do your Dissonant Whispers sound like? What do they do?
For a skeleton owlbear, I'm going to say that it sounds like, let's say 20 pan flutes, all playing just slightly off from one another. Just
Ooh.
dissonant chord.
That's
like...
Those Africa is in 60 frames.
Yeah. Just, the most annoying pan flute music. All a little bit off from each other.
Beautiful. Okay. Do you have any bonus actions or anything like that, or?
Oh, I suppose I could inspire somebody.
You could.
I could do that. Let me.
The skeleton runs away, doesn't it?
You just scared me.
Whispers. Oh yes. Sorry, I forgot about that piece. They have to run as far away from me as they can.
Okay. That is what it will do when it comes down to its turn.
But I will also Bardic Inspire Nordal, since he is closest to the bear.
And what does that give me again?
You get to roll a 1d6. I think. Is it a 1d4 or 1d6? 1d6. And then you can add that to your attack or any kind of checks that you have to do.
Okay. Not damage, but attack roll.
Correct.
Okay. I have to make sure I separate the two.
Yes.
So Nortal, next up is you.
Can I ask how large the creature is?
It is a large creature.
If I am correct, by yeeting rules, I can only yeet it 1/4 the distance of my strength.
Yes.
Which would be roughly 5 feet.
Yes.
But I have to grapple first.
Yes, you do.
But I can't grapple and yeet in the same turn.
No.
Okay, I'm going to use a bonus action called Crimson Right, which allows me to imbue my weapon with my Crimson Right, which is lightning, which adds a 1d4 to damage on any creature that I hit. Let me, when activated, I take the character level and damage. Okay, and that also means that I take 2 hit points in damage, -2. And I am going to swing my great axe at this big old creature. And I'm going to add that d6 now. Which gives me a 21.
21 will definitely hit.
Okay, which means I roll an 11 on the d12. The imbued weapon gets a 1 plus 5, so 17 points of damage this creature takes.
Okay, can you break up all of that damage for me? So how much of that was the axe itself?
The axe itself was 11 plus 5, so 16, and I got a 1 on the lightning damage.
Okay, so let me do the lightning there. And you are slashing with that axe.
Yep.
As you slash at the skeleton, you realize there's no with it being just bones, there is no flesh to hack off. There are no muscles to sever while slashing.
Crush it. Don't cut it.
Yeah. It feels slightly ineffective. Like it's a good solid. Like you hit a bone. Like okay, I'm hitting it, but you know you aren't doing as much damage as you would be to a creature with flesh to attack.
I know better for next time.
And that would be the end of his turn.
Okay. Kirk, you stood chest high in a swamp.
I am increasingly irritated with my situation. I'm going to pull out my wand and I'm going to sling a firebolt at it.
Do it.
Oh, boy, that's only a 12.
I need to quickly double check something. I need to see if being a skeleton increases or decreases its base AC. Because if it decreases it by 1, that's a hit. If it does nothing, it's not, unfortunately. Ugh. No, it doesn't make any difference to it, unfortunately. So,
all right, it's a little wide. I'm probably just gonna. No, Kirk's not gonna move at all. He's staying where he's at.
I also like to imagine what caused it to be wide is when you pulled your wand out of the swamp. It's got like a little frog or something on it. And you go, ew.
Yeah. I'm really disgusted by what's going on.
Okay, NPCs. Luca, he is going to make an athletics check, see if he can swim across. Yep, so he's going to get a good solid 30 feet swimming. He doesn't care if it's gross. He's going to get himself to there. And you know what? He knows he's still really far away, so he's just going to keep swimming. He's going to get double move action in. Ungoro, all the way back here. Yeah, he kind of looks at this. He stands up and goes, Mister, I never got your name. Devilly horny man. Horny man!
It's Kirk.
I like horny man.
Same.
I like your move. You seen the bigger version of it?
Size not important.
He lifts his hand up. It's dripping in awful goopy swamp water. And he flicks his wrist back and fires a very similar attack to yours, except it seems a bit bigger. That will hit, dealing that much. As a ray fires from Ungoro's palm across the swamp and into the owlbear. This ray appears to be scorching.
If he's casting Scorching Ray, he should get 2 more bolts from that.
He's only level 3. Is it 3 bolts at level 3?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm getting my spells.
It's a second level spell. It does 3 bolts.
All right, so yeah, second bolt also hits. Third bolt doesn't, so he's going to get another one, dealing that much. All right, wonderful.
All right, I'm a little impressed.
Okay, that's all they're doing. So that's Owley. Owley is terrified of these awful, awful pan flutes that are plaguing his ears.
Mm-hmm.
So it is gonna it needs to try and pull itself up out of the swamp. That is good enough. As it pulls itself up out of the swamp, Nortal, you may make an attack of opportunity if you so wish.
Ooh, yes, he does. Do I still get that 6, or is it just one time?
It's just once for Bardic Inspiration.
19.
That is a hit.
which means also equally slashing. 12 slashing, 1 lightning.
Once again, you know, usually if a creature was to turn tail from you, you'd like slash at its tendons. You'd go, haha, you can't run. You hit a chunk of its leg, but this bear just does not seem to want to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts moving towards the cave. Something strange occurs. Samba, you would know usually a creature would run as far as it can. This skeleton seems to get to just inside the entrance of the cave, but then it seems as if it is programmed or commanded to not go any further than a certain point. So it seems conflicted, almost as if this is as far as it can go. So it has retreated to the entrance of the cave, but it will not go further in.
Okay. Interesting.
Vosh.
Let me see here. Oh yes, that's plenty. Let's move over here, and before attempting to strike at this thing, I show off the haft of the spear instead, the blunt end to Northel, and speak in his head again. Use the blunt side, and 10.
I like to imagine, feel free to correct me, you spin it round and you go to jab the owlbear with the blunt end, and you slip right in between some of its ribs. You go, oh.
Nordal
that-
just kind
Awesome
of
smack. Don't stab.
Nordal just kind of looks at him and giggles because he missed.
And no, that's definitely all there is.
Okay. So we move on to Samba.
Okay. There we go. It's my 25 feet of movement because I'm only a halfling. Which puts me out 10 feet still, 15 feet away.
Say 10 from hit.
I will viciously mock him.
Do it.
If I can click on it, right? Let's see if this works. There we go. And I'm going to say, you pile of bones. You can't even.
Live?
I have nothing. I don't know what to say to him.
You're dead.
You're not really alive.
I don't think he cares for your smack talk, Samba.
Are any of us really alive?
Nordal just
Oh.
kind of.
Please tell me Kirk actually times that out over
Yeah.
the battlefield.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like,
Nordal just kind of lets out a large, like a loud roar.
I'll show you later what alive means.
Don't tease me with a good time.
love it. Okay, it rolled a nat 20 on its saving throw.
Excellent. So I took 1 point of psychic damage.
Wait.
wait,
When you
no.
make the saving, because isn't Vicious Mockery a cantrip, so saving throw means it does nothing?
Just kidding. You're right.
It's just yeah, everyone kind of looks at us. That wasn't a good burn, Samba.
No.
Not good enough.
Nordal just looks over you.
Oof.
Nortal, post oofing, what do you do?
Nordal is not done with this thing. He's like,
I can't slash it. I'm gonna eat it.
and he moves the 20 feet and attempts to grapple.
Yeah, can you roll me an athletics check to try and pull yourself up out of the swamp?
Sure. Can I just do a? Yeah, the athletics is fine.
Yeah.
24.
Piece of cake. One claw on it, and you almost like leap out of the water.
And he's excited to yeet this thing.
Yeet,
So he's
yeet.
gonna grapple.
All right.
That is a +5, which makes it a 24.
Yeah. The owlbear also has a +5. However, it rolled a 6. So it kind of opens its claws wide because it sees you coming to grapple. It opens its arms if like, come at me, bro. And you just hook right under it. Like, got you. I'm gonna yeet.
And I do believe that makes it the... Because that's an action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do believe, Can I do that again? Ooh.
Do you have 2 attacks?
No. I'm trying to figure out if I can cast Crimson Right again to get another 1d4. I don't know. I'm not going to, because I don't know.
Okay.
And that's the end of his turn.
Yeah. Kirk.
Right, so I'm just gonna firebolt it again. Hopefully this one will work.
Do it.
Right, well, okay, well that one's an 11.
Ugh.
Isn't the thing restrained?
Oh wait,
though?
no, sorry, it's 13. I can do
13
math.
hits. 13 hits.
Yes. Math is hard. For 5 damage.
All right. 5 fire damage. This creature is so much bigger than Nortal that even while it's grappling, its big owl skull face is there. You firebolt it right in one of the eye sockets. Just pow.
Excellent. And I'm feeling a little saucy, so I'm going to move 15 feet towards the owlbear.
Feeling a little saucy.
Whoop whoop. Any bonus actions, anything like that?
Nope.
Alrighty. NPCs. Ungorum, he's just gonna... He thinks you guys have got this, so he's just gonna start leisurely swimming across. Yeah. It's not a great athletics swim, but he's making his way. And Luca is also continuing his swim. Yep, he can get to the edge. And then quick athletics check to pull himself up. And he's there. He gets up, shakes everything off, and takes a martial fighting stance. Like, all right. I'm ready, guys. I'm finally here. I'm in this. Okay. Owly is being grappled. So the only thing he can really try and do is break the grapple. Once again, well, he's going to use his strength. You can use strength or dex to oppose him. I'm assuming strength.
Of course.
Owly rolled a 2. He, unless you nat 1, you've won.
I got a 9.
Yeah, you're fine. You can see him going. And can't quite do anything. He is busy being grappled.
You're gonna get it.
Vash.
So the thing is grappled, makes it easier to hit now.
Mm-hmm. It is grappled. You may make melee attacks with advantage against it.
Whack. Well, 17.
Yeah, same thing each time. 17 hits as you crack the broad end. Treat it as if it's just a quarterstaff, because that, that's exactly what it is when you're whacking with a blunt end of it.
I'll have to check if the damage is different from the spear.
I think a quarterstaff is a d6 off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's not so different. 4-11.
Okay.
Wham!
The skeleton appears to be almost drained of all energy that was keeping it going. Nortal, you're holding it. You're starting to feel some of the bones drop off. A claw drops off. You see a rib fall out of place. This creature is almost done for.
See, Noto, when it is a skeleton, use the blunt end. That's my turn.
Nortal, just crush.
Okay, Samba.
Okay. So I'm close enough. I can get up to it, but Nordal's got it in his hands now. I figured it'd be dead by now, to be perfectly honest.
It looks as if it basically is. I mean, if I'm honest, right now it's on 0 hit points. I just want Nortal to yeet it to kill it. That's basically what I'm waiting for.
Someone's playing favorites.
I guess.
Well, I'm playing for comedy. The creature is done. It's finished. It's essentially gone. I just want Nortal to smash it open because it'll be cool. You can see that Nortal is holding an inanimate skeleton at this point.
Okay, so I'm gonna be like, Nordal, is it even moving?
I don't know, it got heavier.
I will, for flavor, I will run up and I will try to smack it with my blade for a 24 critical hit.
Okay. How do you imagine this works? You've got a crit. This creature's already done. What do you want to do?
I would imagine that I'm going to smack it so hard that it's going to shake and potentially fall out of Nordal's hand. Like, he'd have to make a strength check to keep it?
Yeah, that sounds perfectly valid for me. How are you hitting it? Have you run up and you've jumped and you're gonna like smack it in the head, or are you just punching it in the kneecap? Or
It looks like a
Well, I'm taking my
piercing.
rapier and I'm taking the flat of it because it's a skeleton, so I'm trying to like smack it upside the head.
Okay, so Nortal, make a strength saving throw
Okay.
to try and hold all of this together.
19.
19 will do it. However, from the neck joint down, you can feel that this thing has just crumpled. You're now holding it together by sheer force alone. You've essentially like crumpled it into yourself. The moment you stop tensing your muscles, this will collapse into a pile of bones on the floor. It is upright by you holding it in place, and that is all. So Nortal, I mean, combat is over at this point.
How high is the cave?
The cave ceiling is maybe 10 feet.
And I will assume that it's... if I read this correctly.
I mean, the owlbear's skull is pressed up against the ceiling because the owl is a large creature. It's, like...
I'm just gonna... The chat beat me to it. I'm gonna suplex yeet this thing into the cave top. He's just gonna plant his feet and...
Just... yeah, so... you don't... Actually, yeah, roll to hit. You just need to hit that spot. Like, you need to get a 10.
Exactly, get a 10 because my range is +2, so 10.
Yep, perfect. And then your damage, since it hasn't traveled more than 10 feet, is literally just your strength damage. So that's 5 damage. As you just suplex this pile of bones into the ceiling, they start falling around, collapsing. It is raining owlbear bones over the entranceway to this cave.
And I do believe that raining bones is a great place to take a 5-minute break, lady and gentlemen.
I think so as well.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Thank you for all the bits and the donations. You as well, Mets. I see that in the bottom hand corner. We are going to take a 5-minute break to go use the facilities and grab a couple of drinks. We will be back, and when we do, we will continue Adventures Ahoy.
And we are back.
All righty. So, do we need to do any announcements or anything like that, or just jump straight back into everything?
Just a big thank you again for everybody that's donated both bits, subs, and to the campaign below. We are, as far as the campaign goes, $25 to the $100 goal on Tiltify. However, we are at 130-ish in bits, so we are somewhere. Also, thank you, Nat, for the 15. We are somewhere in the range of over $200 tonight, which is awesome and great and wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for being here and enjoying all the yeets.
All righty. That's wonderful news. Okay, so jumping right back in, you guys have you found this cave. You have, as a joint effort, smashed up a large owl bear skeleton that was guarding said cave. When Luca and Ungoro catch up to all of you, and Kirk as well, I'm assuming, swims over, catches up, pulls himself out of the swamp. Without a moment's hesitation, Luca continues and runs straight into the cave, calling out for his brother. He's going, "Bucko! Yo, Bucko!" And he is running straight on into that cave.
Hello?
Which
Okay.
Dr. Kadeyoskal?
Yeah. Ungoro pauses at the entranceway, and he's getting the owlbear skull and just picking off like talons and the beak and like just gathering all he can from it.
Nordal's just kind of up out of the cave. Disappointed that his yeet wasn't to his usual par. It was just barely a solid yeet, but it didn't turn the bones to dust, which is what he had hoped.
I'm gonna pat Nordal on the shoulder and say, "Priorities, my dear boy," and then rush inside the cave after Luca.
Yeah, I am also following Luca.
Nordal's just gonna
Okay.
shake his head and
I'll get him next time.
rushes into the cave.
Okay. This cave fight I do not have a map for because I wasn't 100% certain if we get all the way here, but you guys managed to literally avoid all of the 5, if not 6 potential encounters along the path here. So, well done.
What natural 20s do.
Yeah. So, thankfully, this cave is a very simple layout, so it's going to be very easy for Theatre of the Mind. As you continue down into the cave, it's not a very deep cave, maybe 20, 30 feet. It then opens up into a small open room. There's something a little off about the room, purely by the fact that in a stark contrast to the very natural stone formations this cave has taken, when you get to this circular room, how it has been laid out, it looks very manufactured, very controlled. It's got stone slabs, there appears to be ornate carvings on them, and at the far end of the room there appears to be an altar before a statue. Stood at this statue is the halfling fellow, still in his black cloak, a small halfling child who appears to be bound and laid upon this altar. The statue itself is portraying what appears to be something similar to as a cross, a hybrid between a halfling and a monkey. You know, it looks about halfling size. I mean, this is statue, so it's like a good 10-foot tall statue. But it has halfling features, but it also appears to have simian features. It's got like a slight ruffle of hair on the cheeks, flayed out. It appears to have monkey-like hands and feet, and a tail. In one hand, it is wielding a quarterstaff, and it seems to be taking a very stereotypical martial arts pose in the statue. As you have all charged in, Luca, who is at the front, he stops at the far, he stops at the end of a room closest to you, and calls out across the room and he goes, "Yo, Hank, whatever you're doing, you better stop it now, brother."
Real quick, can I do a religion or history check on their statue?
Oh yes, you can. Please do.
All right. It's the same modifier for both. Oh, all right. That's a 19.
19. All right. This statue seems to be somewhat similar in depiction to something you saw very, very recently. In fact, earlier this evening, during the performance, the outfit that Luca was wearing for the performance, portraying the great hero of the Malo tribe, Mun Ki.
Right.
This appears to be some kind of shrine or resting place dedicated to this mythical hero of this people.
How far away, roughly, is Hank currently? If I followed right after the halfling monk here.
The room appears to be about 30 feet across, and Hank is elevated on this altar by about 10 feet. So it's 30 feet across the room.
And is Hank responding anything when he's being called out to?
Okay. What Hank does is he is stood there in his black cloak, and he is wielding these two ruby-bladed daggers, which he had gone out of his way to steal. He then looks up, his cloak falls down, and, well, you guys met Hank before, you saw him.
Mm-hmm.
Something seems off with his face, mainly due to the fact that the entire top half of his face looks unnatural. It looks as if it has been dehydrated or something to a similar effect. From the bottom of his nose down, it looks natural. Above, it looks as if it has been altered, or the flesh appears to be slightly decaying.
Would he be considered undead?
At this point, no.
Ooh.
So,
Dying.
Can I walk up to the altar and do a medicine check on the boy?
If you start to approach, Hank will immediately press the blade down towards Barco's throat on the altar, and he goes, "Don't step close."
Okay.
Would
you can
I
see
be
one of
able
his
to-
eyes starts to twitch. His hand is trembling as he wields this dagger near the throat of this young child.
Would I be able to check with insight if he actually has the gonads?
Yeah, insight.
Perfect. Advantage. 10.
Okay, so with a 10, instinctively it's quite difficult to read, almost as if this person is not in his right mind. It almost seems as if there is more than just Hank deciding what's going on now. The trembling hand, you would see it as some kind of hesitation, but the tone of his voice suggests that even if he doesn't want to, he will.
Nortal,
Guide my path.
Nortal just looks at Samba and gives her the look of, "Can I throw you?"
I am going to give a look back of not yet. And I'm going to, if I can, cast Dissonant Whispers. Again. At
Yeah.
Hank.
At Hank, please do.
Sorry, it popped up a thing to ask me how to roll it. There we go. All right, so that is a DC 12
Ugh.
Wisdom save.
Yeah, he rolled a 17.
Of course he did.
Yeah,
Okay,
very
so
unfortunate.
So I have cast Zephyr Strike on myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll, so to speak, hold my action until you are done talking.
Okay. For flavor, what are the dissonant whispers here?
This time, since he likes baboons so much, I'm going to just be playing like a really high-pitched bamboo noise in his head. Yeah,
Lots
like
of that.
super high-pitched though, like painfully so. Yeah, you probably can't do it.
I can't.
But so on a successful save, the target takes half damage, but does not move
wonderful.
away, which is what I was aiming for. So he
Yeah.
gets 5 points of psychic damage.
Yeah, perfect. Don't worry, it's still a good thing still gonna occur.
Yay!
With his free hand, you see him clasping at his own head, like trying to cover his ear, but also you see his hand, like his fingers, clawing at the top half of his head, where the skin seems to be decaying and dehydrating as he's going. Stop! No! I'm going to kill. I don't want to kill that. Kill them.
Kirk's gonna say, "I'm gonna need you to move, mate," and then cast Infestation on him.
Okay. Infestation. What?
It's a DC 14 Constitution save.
Nat 20.
Oh, for real? Nothing happens. Then.
Dude.
How is it that this really shitty, weak little guy is getting good rolls and the owlbear couldn't roll above a flippin' 10?
Well, since everything else is going to hell, I'm going to let loose an arrow
Yeah, fire.
with advantage from Zephyr Strike.
Mm-hmm. At the same time, Luca looks at you, Nortal, and he gives a knowing nod, and he says a single word. Yeet.
15.
Okay, the 15, that will hit Hank. What's the damage on that?
Do-do-do-do-do. 8 plus 3. 9.
Okay.
Also, Wash's movement speed has increased by 30 feet.
All right, wonderful. You let loose this arrow. Whereabouts are you aiming for on Hank?
Does he? I probably should have asked this before, but does he seem dominant on left or right hand?
He is wielding the dagger with his left hand.
Left shoulder.
Okay. So that's going to happen. The arrow pierces him in the left shoulder, pulling his hand away from the bound child on the altar. Nortal. Luca has requested a yeet.
A consensual yeet. So I just need, and what is his size?
He is a small creature.
Well, small creature is small object can be eaten at a distance equal to your strength. So 20 feet. Say we're pretty close to that.
Yeah, I would justify. You can move 10 feet and then do the yeet because you've got enough time.
I'll get a running start
Yeah.
to get a good oomph. And I just need a DC of 10, right? Or AC of 10? DC of 10.
That's if you're aiming for an empty space. If you're aiming to throw him at Hank, you need to hit Hank's AC.
Okay. Throwing him a Hank. Oh goodness, this is gonna be close, I bet. Plus that is a 16.
Okay, yeah, that will do it. Luca has essentially jumped up into your hand and he curls himself up like a small cannonball
Mm-hmm.
as you take like 2 big steps forward. And how are you throwing? Is it like shot put? You javelin?
He's just launching him with every strength and muscle in his body, just off his back foot, throwing him like a baseball as he's curled up.
Yeah. As you do so, in midair, Luca splays himself out and clenches his hand into a fist, and then releases a fist into an open palm strike. As he flies through the air, he makes contact with Hank. A small. You've thrown 20 feet, so that's going to be 2d6 plus your strength mod. So roll that.
2d6 plus strength. Okay, hold on. Ah! Where's my dice? 2d6. Oh, you're not gonna believe it. I
Is it
rolled
12?
I rolled 2 6s.
Perfect. So that's 17 damage.
Yo.
With Luca also getting a strike. You're not gonna fucking believe this. Luca just got a 6 on his unarmed strike as well.
We just did max damage to this thing.
Yeah. So 9 damage from the arrow, 17 from Luca. Luca is also taking that 17 damage though from being yoked. But he also got a big slap into Hank's chest as well. With Luca's thing, so that's an additional 8. So 18 plus 8, that is 26 plus 9, 35 damage to Hank. And he has been knocked onto the floor. And he's not down, but he has been knocked over and away from the child. Now would be the time to roll initiative.
I just yeeted somebody and did 35 damage. I'm quite proud of that.
So I know I'm being a background devil here again. Oh, nice 20. How large and heavy would the giant halfling be?
Would what be, sorry? A giant halfling?
No, the child halfling.
The child.
I mean, okay, assume a child is half the size of something else, so it wouldn't be a small creature, it would be one size down, which is
very small.
tiny. Is it tiny?
I don't know.
And would
Sure, why
probably weigh, I don't know, maybe
20 pounds, 30 pounds.
10?
Yeah.
Okay, good enough for me.
Yeah. Okay, so initiative order, we've got Kirk, Vash at 20, Kirk at 13, Samba at 11, Nortal, what's
19.
yours? So, I should have.
You know you can just click on the tokens, right? You can click on the token and hit add turn.
Yeah, right click.
I can?
Yeah, you click on my token and hit add turn, and it puts it in.
Hang on.
Sometimes you might have to, when the tokens are this high up, yeah, you need to do that.
Yeah, that's
There you
what
go.
was wrong. So, what was yours, Nortal, again? Sorry?
19. I can put it in myself when you do it by token.
Oh, wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Vash is 20. And Hank. Yeeks.
Put myself back up there.
Damn it, Hank. Why? Why do you have to get all the good rolls? So, Hank is there with that.
Oh,
And that, yeah, I'm not even. It's like, why? I want you guys to just kick his ass.
Wouldn't this? I have to be that guy, but would this not constitute or count as a surprise round?
Well, that's what you basically just did.
Yeah.
In that case, retroactively, while the other halfling was being yeeted, you would be able to. This is why I was asking. You would be able to see a green bolt take a 60-foot normal move action, pick up the kid, and return back where he came from with double movement speed. With the
so
kid
you
now.
can dash, grab Barco, bring him back.
No, this is normal movement. Plus 30 feet from the safest strike.
Sorry, I was using dash as like a way to say quick
Yeah.
movement. I
Gosh.
forget.
So he
you were moving 10
Watch
feet a
those.
second.
Okay, so in initiative order, Hank is the first to move. He is currently on the floor with Luca next to him. He reaches over, grabs grabs the dagger, which was out, and pulls out the other one he was wielding. And he looks at the room where all of you are, and he strikes the two blades together. And as he does so, a burst of fire erupts out, covering the room. Everybody make a dex save, please.
Killing me.
Literally.
That's what he's trying.
Ooh, that's an 18 from Kirk.
16.
16.
Okay.
Oh, I feel like
18,
I'm the only one that's gonna roll this badly. 13.
And Ungoro, yikes, Ungoro rolled like a 4. Oh, and Luca doesn't count because he's not in the room. Okay, so everybody except Nortal and Ungoro made the saves. We're only going to take half damage. Okay, so Nortal, 7 fire damage. Everybody else, you take half. So we round down for half, don't we?
3.
So 3 damage to everybody else fire.
Nice. I only take 1.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm a tiefling.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
That was Hank's main action. Well, no, it's a bonus action to do that because these daggers are very special. The thing he actually does for his turn is he looks out to the room and sees there's a whole bunch of you, and he calls out. Once again, there's something off with his voice. As he starts to speak, it's initially his, and he goes, "Stop it! I don't. What? You're going to kill them all." As his hands are trembling, before they tense, turn outwards, and clawing out from underneath some of the stone slabs, 3 skeletons crawl out of the floor.
Nice.
That is Hank's round done. Vash.
Samba,
Mm-hmm.
I set the kid down. Take care of this thing. And I pull out my spear and take my move action with it to go over to Hank. Normally my weapons are for monsters, but I'm pretty sure you count. And forgetting that this time I can stab, I swing the thing for 10 and try to hit with a 10.
A 10 is not going to hit. As you're not quite so used to hitting small things, and you swing it straight over his head, and you're now right up in front of Hank. You can see that his eyes, they have almost turned entirely black. Whatever the hell is going on, you're right. He's probably not even a person anymore.
And I'll end my turn with Nortal, the blunt end.
Nortal, there are 3 approximately human-sized skeletons that have just crawled out from underneath the floor. And then there's Hank.
Where's the location of the skeletons?
They are spread out quite evenly. They are somewhere... They are in that distance between you and Hank. If you were to charge through them, they would get attacks of opportunity on you. But, it just feels if you could tank that. If you want to go straight for murdering Hank.
That's 7 damage hurt. I'm down. I'm close. Let's see. I am going to... I'm going to go up to 20 feet to these skeletons. And...
These skeletons themselves are spaced out. There's like 10 feet between them. So,
let's say 10 feet, 10 feet, 10 feet, and then Hank's in the back.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the one on the left. And I'm gonna grapple him.
All right, yeah, grapple. These skeletons are medium-sized, so...
Okay, so 10 feet. If I, let's see. That will be a 17.
Yeah, skeleton rolled a 9. Immediately grabbed it.
Cool. And I look over to the other skeletons. Obviously, they're undead, so they don't give a shit what I say. But I look over at them and I say,
he's coming for you.
And
they do not know what you're talking about. You see their skulls kind of move like, what?
Since that is an action, I've already done my Crimson Right, so I still have the 1d4, so I'm good. Yep, that's the end for me.
Okay, Kirk.
Correction.
Ooh.
Since I have him grappled, and I still have 10 feet of movement.
Oh, yeah. You can... it'll be an opposed strength check to force him along with you, but yes, you can do it.
If I go towards Hank, there would be no opportunity because the guy's 10 feet, the other skeleton's 10 feet away. Correct?
Yeah. You can grab and move.
I'm gonna go 10 feet towards Hank.
Okay, opposed strength check. Ugh. I rolled a 5.
What's his plus strength?
2.
I still beat it. I rolled a 2 plus 5, so I'm at 7.
Well, that's it. Like I rolled a 3 on the dice, and it's a 5 in total.
We're good.
Okay, Kirk.
Yes. Right. So how far away is Hank from the skeleton?
The closest skeleton to Hank is approximately 15 feet away. Nortal is now 10 feet away, and then there's another one about 10 feet away from... I mean, they're all about 15 feet away from Hank.
So I'm trying to line this up in my mind's eye. I should be able to hit 2 skeletons and Hank in a 15-foot cone, right? Without hitting Nortal.
Easily.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to go up, and I'm going to cast Burning Hands, but it's going to come out of my fingers with radiant energy rather than fire. So they'll all have to make D14 dexterity saves.
Okay. So, Skeleton 1, nope. Skeleton 2, also a nope. And Hank, double nope.
I made it.
Oh, we all have to roll?
Only if you're in the 15-foot cone.
Which
I
one?
was literally in front of Hank.
Unfortunately, Luca is, so... Oh, but Luca's actually pretty good. I should roll his dex. Oh yeah, Luca's fine. That's a 17 on his dex. He's only taking half.
All right. So that is a total of 13 radiant damage.
And that gets doubled because they are undead and therefore weak to radiant damage. The two skeletons caught in that burst into holy flames before disapparating into dust. Hank, well, Luca, he kind of like ducks behind the altar. Some of the light catches him. He's okay. He's not looking great. He's not looking fantastic. He's looking quite beat up from being yeeted. But, you know, providing Hank doesn't decide to just like stab him in the throat, Luca should be fine. Hank, on the other hand, as the radiant light flows over him, you see he is having two separate reactions to it. The natural, normal human reaction, like, light. The area of decaying skin at the top of his head. And you're now seeing it has spread slightly to his fingertips. You can physically see areas of that skin burning off, revealing, similar to the Albert outside, perfectly bleached, untouched white bone beneath it. And, okay.
Awesome.
Hank is not looking so good. Hank is looking...
Oh, I'm gonna also back up a little bit.
It's actually kind of astounding how Hank is still standing. One would assume Hank is basically gone at this point. You can see, like, from his nose up, no skin anymore. Just bare exposed skull. His right hand is single bone. His left hand, which is wielding... Well, both his hands are wielding a dagger. But the left hand seems to be flesh and blood and still alive. The right hand is just dead. It's somehow just bone gripping onto this handle with all it can. And a terrifying scream perforates throughout the cave. Is that it for Kirk?
That's it.
Samba.
Okie doke. How far away am I from him?
You are about 30 feet.
Okay. I am supposed to protect the child. So, I'm gonna do some mocking. And
That's a 2 for Hank. So
Excellent.
he fails that.
4 psychic damage as I say, you are wider than the owlbear outside. Which makes 0 sense, but that's okay. And I'm going to step back with the boy.
The left hand of Hank, it reaches up to his face if he was trying to cover something to stop his head hurting, but, you know, it's just touching bone, as you can hear, like... And you see, without realizing, he is slowly pressing the ruby blade into his own skull whilst trying to stop himself from feeling this psychic damage. NPCs. Nortal, how are you looking?
Nortal is looking a little rough. He's not feeling too great. He wants to get this over with so he can maybe take a nap. He's looking a little tired.
Yeah. Ungoro he's gonna casually just walk over. He dusts some of the bone dust out of his way as he walks over, and Nortal, you're like grappling the skeleton as it's like trying to claw at you, and you're going, no. Mm-hmm. And Ungoro just goes like, so, all good? You look pretty beat up.
Could use a little, healing.
He kind of, he just winds his hand around the flailing skeleton and pokes you. And, it feels good. It feels pleasant. You recover 6 hit points.
Almost all of that back from. Okay, so +6.
Feels much better.
Luca stands up. He's looking pretty beat up. You can see some of the skin on him has been burnt by the radiant damage. He's got a big black eye from being yeeted. He stands up. He rests his hand on the altar. He's panting. And he sees Hank pressing this dagger into his own skull. And he looks at him. And he goes, "Whatever happened to you, Hank? It's one thing to be a dick, yeah? But now you just... I don't even know." And he reaches up, grabs Hank's wrist, and pushes the dagger into the side of Hank's skull. Hank's entire body begins to glow bright red as he...
I wonder if that was it. Okay, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to continue on without Roll20 being shown. It seems like Chrome was causing some issues for me. So I actually will figure that out somehow later. I didn't get to that part you said earlier, Bard.
Okay.
So it pretty much froze as soon as after you healed me. It
all right,
just
wonderful.
went blank.
Okay, cool. I can fill that in easily and quickly then. Okay, so Ungoro healed you. You're feeling a bit better. I then described Luca, who pulls himself up from behind the altar. He looks very beat up. You can see some of his skin has been quite badly burned by the radiant damage, despite him managing to hide from most of it. He's got quite a large black eye from being yeeted so hard. Luca isn't looking his best. As he stands up, he's catching his breath, and he looks at Hank, and he goes, "What happened to you, Hank, man? Like, I get it. You're a dick, yeah? But there's a difference between being a dick and being a monster."
You just see Nordal in the corner just kind of giggle.
And then what he did is, very calmly, Luca reached out, grabbed Hank's wrist, which had the dagger placed up to the crease between where his human, well, halfling flesh is and the exposed skull. And he just pushes Hank's hand, wielding the blade, into his skull. Then it goes to Hank's turn, who falls onto the altar and then crawls himself up onto his knees, pushing this dagger further into his own skull, twisting it as his flesh hand is doing that. His skeletal hand starts clawing at his own chest as you hear Hank speak, just Hank's voice on his own. And it's very quiet and soft, and I didn't mean to go this far. I just his skeletal hand breaks his own sternum, collapsing in on himself as it seems to squeeze the last beating moments out of his own heart as his blood drips out onto the altar.
Nordal just, that was intense.
How's everyone feeling? How's everyone reacting?
Well, I mean, how's this skeleton in my hand?
It depends. Yes, it depends on whether the combat is still going.
Mm-hmm.
The skeleton in your hand, it seems to go limp. and start to fall apart.
Nordal just clenches his claw, turn his neck where he grappled him into dust, and just drops him. And I'm crashing again. We might have to end early tonight.
Is it?
It's still giving me problems. Did you guys hear what I said?
Nope.
Nordal is drops skeleton.
Let this be an important lesson to y'all. As I grab Hank's corpse and rather hastily toss it away from the altar to not get any more of the blood on it. Some monsters come from within.
Vash, as you do that, you notice on the altar there is some very ornate carvings, almost as if they have been designed to, catch blood and draw it in a particular pattern. And you notice there is a very ornate symbol being filled out with these
Finger. Block with finger. No more. Nope.
This ornate pattern ever so slightly. You notice that a small trickle of it leads to the statue. The statue begins to let out a quite powerful light, specifically from 3 areas. From its hands, from its feet, and from its waist.
You have got to be kidding me. Run.
Well, hold on. We could learn something here. Let's not run away too quickly. And Kirk's got his journal out, and he is furiously sketching the altar and all the markings and the statue, and not really preserving himself at this point.
You can take risks. I won't. It's your funeral.
Nordal's just gonna run up to that blood stream, so to speak, and he's gonna try to stop it. He's gonna prevent it from beating the statue, so to speak. That's what it looks like it's trying to do.
Yeah. Topple the altar over, that's fine. However, these 3 specific areas of the statue are still lit up, and they are giving off a very potent magic. Would anyone like to take either a perception or investigation at the statue?
I guess that would be me for investigation.
Oh yeah,
and I can do perception.
Oh no, that's only an 8.
22.
See it while going, but I'm not staying to investigate it.
Hold on, I'm dropping again. And I'm back. Yep, 22.
22. Okay. Okay. Kirk, you're too busy going, ooh, a cult.
Yeah.
Nortal, you notice that on the hands, the feet, and the waist of the statue, those don't seem to be made of stone anymore. They haven't turned flesh. They haven't turned into anything like that. They appear to have somehow materialized from the stone to whatever it was they were initially showing. So it appears there is a pair of gloves, a pair of sandals, and a sash. That they look real. They look material.
Just from the waist down, though, nothing else.
It's gloves where the hands would be, sash around the waist, and sandals on the feet. And they appear to be real. Like you could touch them, you could take off the statue, you could move these things.
Nordal is going to take notes out of Vosh's book, and he's just gonna get up, take that skull that he still has in his claws, stick it where the blood's flowing, so the blood stops, and
Mhm.
gonna be like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out," and not mess around with this statue.
Okay. So Vash and Nortal are walking on out. Ungoro,
Walking.
running speedily.
Samba's been taking the child out of the room anyway, so
Okay. So, the only people in the cave still then, Ungoro, he's disappointed. There's no skulls left for him, so he goes, meh, and starts walking out. That just leaves Luca and Kirk.
Hmm. What I've noticed that Nord will put the skull to try and block the blood at this point.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to walk over to the altar and say, no, this won't do it all. This is what I left to avoid. I'm here to learn more about how this works, and I'm going to take the skull off, and I'm going to throw it back to allow blood to go toward the statue.
Luca, he's just sat on the floor, back against the altar, panting very heavily and looking at the statue, and he's going, brother, any idea what that nonsense is? It might be from being yeeted across the room, yeah? But it looks like those bits that are glowing are real.
I roll an Arcana.
And I'm going to kind of maybe at the sash try and get the sash off of it with my wand.
And as you, sorry, Nortal.
Yeah, you're good. Hold on, it's just doing its thing again. Can I roll a Arcana? Find out what kind of magic this might be.
Yeah.
7.
Magic.
Okay, well, Nordal is spooked, and he's going to grab Kirk.
Nordal left the cave, didn't he?
Nah, he turned around the second you moved his skull. He perceived it. I would assume with a 13 perception, I have a small understanding of that Kirk wasn't around.
Yeah, I can justify that. You go, hang on. You'd double back. You'd see Kirk about to reach out and touch this sash.
Okay.
As you try and pull him away, Kirk, are you reaching your wand out and to touch it with that, did you say?
Yeah, poke it with my wand.
Yeah, as you do that, you feel Nortal grab you by the shoulder, and you get pulled back a little bit, and the sash pulls off of the statue hooked on your wand.
Mm-hmm.
As it does, you now have this sash. The cave starts to rumble, and the statue begins to fall apart.
Can I try and grab other items before it crumbles apart?
Let's see. What check? Like instinctively, I want to say Dex.
Yeah.
Roll me a Dex check.
And you said the other gentleman was also laying next to the statue?
Luca is sat on the floor, panting very heavily, not looking so good.
I am going to use my other claw and grab him as well.
Okay, so you can do that. Cook, what is your Dex?
12.
Yeah. As you're being pulled away, you can make a grab at one of them. Do you go for the gloves or the sandals?
The gloves.
Yeah. As you're being pulled away, you grab at the hand, and these gloves come off. You now have a sash and these gloves, and the cave begins to tremble and shake. The statue falls apart as some rocks begin to fall from the ceiling. Nortal, do you drag these two dumbasses out of here?
I am dragging these two dumbasses out of here.
Yeah.
What do you think you're doing? Get off of me.
You get dragged out the cave. Once you are outside, you can see the cave collapse in on itself, and there is no sign that it ever existed. The only things I mean, I'm assuming you left Hank's body in there as well.
Yeah, I didn't grab him. Real quick, when that cave does collapse and we get out of it, and I see these two individuals in my claws, and I look back at the cave, and out of frustration or annoyance, I just halfway yeet it. I don't quite throw them, but I just kind of chuck them in front of me
Just throw them to the floor like
because I almost
dumbasses.
died saving them in a crumbling cave. So I'll roll for both of them. The first one lands. Okay, so the left claw, since it's not quite as strong, so that one was the one I put what's his face in Luca in. So Luca has a 9, so it didn't go very far.
Yeah, just
And this one goes quite far. This one's a 17. So Kirk gets kind of thrown a little harder because it's the right hand. He's a little more annoyed at Kirk. He just kind of shoves him into the ground like, you dummy.
I mean, theoretically, that shove, if you're going from the entrance of the cave, you might be able to push far enough to shove Kirk into the swamp.
I'm not going for the swamp.
Okay.
I don't want to. I only want to put him about 5 feet in front of me, just kind of like a toss and a slide more than a throw.
Yeah. Kirk, you've been shoved to the ground. You've got this very impressive, cool, magical-looking sash and gloves.
They're getting shoved in my bag. And then I'm going to take my wand and point it at Nordal and say, "Don't you ever touch me like that again."
Next time I leave you to die.
Well, at least maybe I would have learned something.
You learn nothing in death.
Well, that's not what my brother necromancers say, but that's something that's, I don't quite anticipate someone of your intellect to quite understand that. So anyway, we should probably get back to the village, correct? We got what we came for.
Yeah, you got
Okay.
Barker back.
And Nordal's gonna roll a history real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a 18, so I'm gonna assume he remembers. Vosh is upset. I'm gonna assume that means Nordal remembers the footsteps leading the other path away from the swamp.
The halfling footprints.
Yes.
Yeah, you remember that they're there.
Nordal looks at Kirk.
I don't believe our job is quite done there. Something was controlling that man. Thing. It.
Well,
And
I don't know about you, but I certainly need to rest before I can do much else.
Agreed.
I can rest in that swamp.
You have a good time.
Also, we have to go get the herbs for Big Poppa.
Exactly. Well, we gotta go down the other path.
So, what I'm hearing is a general call for, at the very least, a short rest before progressing on. So, you guys could quite happily make camp here in some way, shape, or form, get some kind of short rest. And we are pretty much at time,
It's a good
I
time
think.
too, yes.
So,
Was it?
Yes.
You seem to have forgotten your mad crushes toys into that cave. Shame.
Yes, it is a shame.
one final thing before we do our wrap up. Are there any very quick scenes anybody would like to do in this short rest?
If we're gonna be short resting here, Nortal is gonna go over to the swamp and kind of waddle into the mud and take a nap.
And you also owe me a new cloak. This one is slightly singed.
It wasn't actual fire, it was radiant energy.
Fair point.
This is not an actual arrow. It's just a stick with a pointed metal tip at the end.
You hear Nordle
I'm
just
not
half
getting into semantics. I'm discussing actual energy differences. I'm going to need a full chalkboard to explain all the differences to you all.
Nordle just kind of snickers out in the distance.
Gosh, this is my favorite.
Kirk's gonna kind of be a little huffy and walk off and try and get out of sight of everyone. If anyone, he probably wouldn't be hiding necessarily from Samba or Luca. But he would take some time to cast Identify on both the gloves and the sash.
Do you know how to start a regular fire? Or is that too simple for your glorious mind?
Kirk is choosing to ignore the pokes.
What has to
Bardic is muted.
Got nothing.
Oh wait, yeah, I can hold on. Let me see if I can unmute him. Are you
There we
You
go.
good?
Wonderful.
There you go.
Sorry. I quickly muted myself because I needed to tell my dog to stop misbehaving, but then it wouldn't let me unmute myself. Okay, so that's all of these things going on. Samba, is there anything that you would like to do as your nice? Phew, that's been an ordeal.
I would. The only thing I would want to do is make sure that Luca, his little brother, is okay.
Yeah.
So, like a medical check.
That
guess?
is the perfect thing to roll. Yes.
I don't know if that actually rolled. Yeah, that's a hit dice. That is not a medical check. That's a 21.
That's a nat 20.
21.
Bocco seems fine, a little shaken up, a little bit bruised from being dragged across the jungle.